Hey, what is going on, everybody? East Tactics here, and today I decided I'd make a video that actually kind of goes through and breaks down the difference between the Arrma Kraton V4 and the Arrma Kraton EXB or Extreme Bash version. So, as many of you know, or you may not know, Arrma is top of the line RC car that has a huge lineup, and I myself have specifically fallen in love with the bashers, and key being the Arrma Kraton. I picked up the Arrma Kraton 6S version 4, which basically means it runs on a 6S battery, and it's the latest, it's like 2019 model of their, basher. So recently, within the last few months, Arrma has come out with the EXB, which is the Extreme Bash version. So today what we're going to talk about is, if you're really looking into getting into the hobby, a serious high-end RC cars, then what is the smarter purchase, or what is the better purchase, going for the V4 and upgrading it to a point that it is just unstoppable, or picking up the Extreme Bash version, which is also, coming out of the gate with a lot of the upgrades that you would want to install from, third-party vendors or whatever. So let's just quickly take a look. So basically, what we have here is we've got the Arrma Kraton EXB. It's a black, it's stellar looking, everything about it. So from Horizon Hobbies, you're looking out the gate, $469. Now this is a roller, which basically means that it doesn't come with a motor, an ESC, or the controller, and obviously you're going to have to buy your own batteries, and you're going to have to buy your own charger. Then there's the Arrma Kraton 6S, which is its counterpart. It's released, a year prior. This is the version 4, and it comes in at $549 from Horizon Hobbies. Now this comes ready to basically, it has a motor, it has an ESC, and it also comes with the controller. You will have to buy your own battery, and you will have to buy your own charger. So let's go ahead and talk about why would you consider purchasing this for $549 or this for $469 when basically the black EXB Extreme Bash roller basically is out of the box going to come with a lot of upgrades that you would otherwise pay for yourself to get your version 4 up to tank quality. So the only way to really do a full comparison is to understand the cost after you've counted in basically buying the motor and the ESC and the controller for this one. So let's figure it out. So we're gonna jump over to Amazon, and right now I basically got the Arrma Kraton V4 in a group here. So these are the items that you'd want to pick up. Now, you can pick up any version of a charger that you want. You can pick up any battery that you want, 6S, or you can pick up 2 3S batteries, and you can pick up any controller. Actually, this vehicle actually does come with the Spectrum controller, but a lot of people consider that controller to be trash, and so you'll probably just want to throw it away as soon as you get it and buy your own controller. However, if you want, you can just use the Spectrum controller, but I don't recommend it. So let's go ahead and see what this is basically everything you're going to need for the Arrma Kraton to basically hit the streets and start having fun. Granted, it does not have some of the upgraded parts. So we'll add this to the cart. We'll add this to the cart. So let's go to checkout and see what we got. So the total is $862 for this setup. Now, keep in mind, it would be about $810-ish if you decide to use the Spectrum controller and you found a little bit better deal on another website. So for the Arrma Kraton V4 stock version, no upgrades, you're looking at about $820. $862 if you want to get a better controller for it. Okay, so now let's go in and take a look at the EXB. Let me jump over to my lists here. I've got prepared. I've got the EXB here. Okay, so now unfortunately the EXB on Amazon is not available, so I'm not going to be able to add this to my cart in order to kind of figure out price comparisons. If you recall, it is $469 from this website, which doesn't really say, oh, from Horizon Hobby, as you can see, right? Maybe you can find it for a little bit cheaper, who knows? So I'm gonna go ahead and use this Arrma Limitless just as a price placeholder so we can actually get a tally here. So we'll add this, to the cart. Now for the EXB, you do need your own ESC and your own motor, and you want to get a quality one, and this is a really good combo. I recommend it. In fact, anything that you see in these lists are parts that I recommend. So we'll go ahead and add this to the list. You do need a controller for the EXB, so we'll add this to the list, $59. Now keep in mind, you don't have to spend $60 on this specific controller, but you'll probably end up spending about $60 for whatever controller you choose. I do have another list that is just called Arrma EXB parts that I'll put in the description so you can go and look at different options for controllers if you want. Now the battery here, again, you can find any number of batteries. You can buy 2 3S batteries, or you can buy 1 6S battery. Generally between the 2 3S batteries, you're probably going to be around between 100 and 150, or if you buy 1 6S battery, you're probably going to be around 150. So we'll go ahead and add that to the cart. Now for the charger, again, this is a really good charger. I recommend it. You can charge 2 batteries at once. Whatever charger you get, I do recommend being able to charge 2 batteries at once, because there's always going to be a circumstance where you're going to wish you could be charging 2 batteries, especially if you've got a 3S. If you've got 2 3S batteries, you're going to want to be able to charge them both at the same time. So we'll add this to the cart. All right, so let's go ahead and proceed to checkout. All right, and see what the cost is going to be for the Arrma EXB with all the different little things that you're going to need. And the total comes to $1,096. So if you remember, for the Arrma Kraton, it was $850, and that's getting a new controller, well, $860. So the difference between $860 and basically $1,100 is, so $250. See, so that's where you have to start thinking about, like, what's a better deal? What could I get for $250 on the Arrma Kraton V4 so that it becomes more of a tank? And is that beefed up version of the Arrma Kraton V4 better than the stock version of the Arrma EXB that comes in around $1,100? And that, again, this is calculating in the fact that you're going to need to buy the batteries, the charger, a controller, and on the EXB, the motor and the ESC. So that's the real question. Which is going to be more of a tank? What can $250 do for me whenever I want to upgrade the V4? So I'll tell you right now. Now let's go back to the Arrma Kraton again. Arrma Kraton V4. And let's add these back to the cart. All right, now we've got $862. So what is it that the EXB has that makes it better? Well, there are a few things. So let's go ahead and take a look. Now, if we go back to my list, go ahead and look at the Arrma Kraton EXB parts and just kind of pull in the stuff that we need. So again, we've got $250. All right, so right here, we've got a front aluminum shock tower. Now, is the front in need of an upgrade for the stock V4? And the answer to that question, in my opinion, is no. The V4 current front shock tower is small enough that the metal that it's made out of is durable and it's not going to bend. in my experience, and I've definitely had my fair share of hard wrecks. So let's go ahead and keep going. All right, right here, the rear shock tower is $44.99. Let's go ahead and add that to the cart. Now, I'm not actually suggesting that you pick up the Arrma version of the rear shock tower. Instead, I would highly recommend that you jump over to M2C Racing, which have better, more tanky, and actually made out of 70-75 steel, just like the Arma V4 or the Arrma EXB. However, pretty much everything from M2C is going to be a few steps up from even the EXB's versions. So let's take a look at the cars and trucks and the Arrma 6S. And what you're going to want to get is their rear shock tower. So there's the front. All right, here's the rear. So the rear shock tower here is $50, all right? So let's jump back over to Amazon, and we're gonna go ahead and put that $44.99 in place of it, just to basically get the total added, okay? So that is definitely a highly recommended upgrade that you do to your V4. Okay, now the next thing you're gonna wanna upgrade, let's say, you know what, like these arms on the EXB are actually beefier than the Arrma Kraton. But the Arrma Kraton arms are just, they're extremely beefy, and if you end up breaking those, I would actually recommend that you jump over to the RPM, because I've not tried and tested these EXB A-arms. Granted, they're like, they look tank as all get out. So, you know, if you wanted to, the total cost for these is, let's see, there's 13, 25, you know, about $40 if you wanted to basically switch out your A-arms. But I wouldn't even worry about switching them out until you break it, right? That's the nice thing about, you know, getting the V4. You could basically, you know, fix it as you break it, and then you're actually experiencing the hobby. Because I'll tell you right now, guys, this hobby isn't about just buying a completely impervious vehicle and then, you know, going out and just having bash sessions to your heart content and nothing ever breaks. No, actually the fun of this hobby is actually repairing your stuff, learning how to fix it, getting in, digging into the parts, the wrenching experience of making something that you love better, right? So that's one of the perks actually of getting the V4 over the EXB as well, is you're actually going to go in and you're going to do the wrenching on your vehicle as you go. So, you know, get out there and bash it, break an A-arm, whatever. As soon as you break an A-arm, you can go in and pick up these A-arms right here that are on the EXB. Or you can jump over to this list, which I'll have links to all these descriptions, but this list right here, the Arrma Kraton V4 parts, has your RPM products in it. So let's go ahead and just scroll down through this. And these are all like all the little things that you might need over time to do little, you know, just doodads and fixes and stuff. And, you know, if you want to have like a truck stand or if you break a fan or whatever. Hot racing parts are good. I've used Hot Racing and they're pretty good. Anyway, what we're looking for is the RPM parts, right? So here are some other controller options that are really highly regarded. So just keep that in mind. I mean, this one's only $30 and this one's 73. This one's a little bit more expensive. Here's that one that I had in the list. There are other battery options, etc., etc. You know, if you need to get your diff fluids, granted, a lot of this stuff for whatever reason is out of stock. So hopefully after the pandemic, a bunch of this stuff comes available again because it's sort of ridiculous. RPM parts are here. Okay, RPM bumper. You're gonna wanna get an RPM bumper. So I'm gonna add that to the cart because you just need that. So let's go ahead and just add these RPM front A-arms. And where are the rear A-arms for RPM? They should be in here. Honestly, I highly recommend getting this, so we'll add this to the cart. All right, so add to cart. And for the front A-arms, you actually are going to need, so you're gonna need 2 of these. All right, okay, So, and again, adding these RPM A-arms to the cart is actually not even necessary because, again, the ones that come on the V4 are really tough, and it's not one of the first things that break by any means, but we just threw them in for fun. So let's see, what else is a must-have upgrade on the V4 to make it to where it's going to be comparable to the EXB? So let's jump over to the EXB, which I have right here, and take a look. So the EXB, that bumper is pretty tank. So if you didn't want to get the RPM bumper, you can go ahead and get this one instead. All right, so it's got aluminum chassis mounts. And honestly, I do recommend you upgrade those because the V4 comes with these chassis braces and they're plastic. And the thing is that the ones that come on the EXB, they are metal, but they're 6061 metal and they're not 775, which is better. And so I would actually recommend this being something you upgrade. So we're gonna jump over to the EXB list. And add these to the cart. Add, so it's 15 bucks there and 15 bucks there. Okay, so those are both added. Now, should you go with the EXB versions? I would probably say that 6061 aluminum for this particular component is just fine. However, on M2C, if you want to really step it up, then I would go with theirs, which is $25. So okay, so instead of going for the XB, definitely go with these. These are $775 and they're amazing. So we went ahead and added them to the cart anyway just to get the pricing. You are going to want to get a the servo mount is plastic on the V4, so I do highly recommend upgrading it. So we'll go ahead and just add that to the cart. I mean, I'm not gonna put in the pricing for tools, but these are expensive tools, high-end tools. So if you want these, that's fine, but you can also find on my Arrma Kraton V4 parts list, you can find budget parts that are good quality. There's a shock wrench, but as far as like your hex drivers, I would actually recommend going with these right here, $22 for a set of 4. But I'm not going to add that in on pricing to this. So let's see what we're at right now. All right, we're still $80 under what you would spend on the EXB, right? You know, $70 under, right? Ish. Now, here's the thing. The most important upgrade for your vehicle, and I'm not even joking, is this right here. You're looking at it. The M2C Goliath 3000 Arrma Kraton chassis is made out of airplane grade aluminum. Basically steel that's not, it's got amazing memory. Like it'll flex and bend, but it'll always retake its shape. I've never seen a single video or a single bash where somebody's bent this yet. And here's the thing, the Arrma EXB comes with an upgraded chassis. However, it is not a 4mm stick. It doesn't hold a candle to this chassis. And this is $130 for this chassis, right? If you were to buy an EXB, which I think is an amazing vehicle, don't get me wrong, guys, I would still upgrade the chassis on the EXB to this chassis because it is the most like pivotal upgrade that you can put on your Arrma Kraton platform. If you end up getting the EXB and you run it, you know, that's fine, but you're definitely going to want to you know, see that tower to tower brace? The M2C Goliath chassis is so strong that you can remove this tower-to-tower brace that you see there above the chassis braces. It's so strong you can remove it. And I would never remove that if you're running the EXB, because obviously the manufacturers put it in there because they know that their chassis doesn't hold a candle to the M2C chassis. So what is the verdict here? Well, basically, when you jump back to Amazon and you look at the total price for what we have in our cart, you need to add $130 to that. But you know what? Go ahead and just remove these RPM A-arms right here, because you've got some decent A-arms that come with the V4. And you know, while I highly recommend this wheelie bar, you could even remove that too. But after removing it, you're at $995. So if you add $130 to this, you're gonna be at $30 over what you'd spend on the EXB. And you've got M2C parts on your vehicle. You've got the chassis, which is unquestionably the most important upgrade that you can get in a vehicle. And then you've also got a rear shock tower, which is tank as all get out from M2C. You've got the chassis braces, you've got the servo mount, and you're ready to rock, you know what I mean? The only thing that I would really recommend getting after that, if you break them and when you break them, are the suspension mounts, which they're plastic on the EXB as well. So you're gonna be buying better suspension mounts, which suspension mounts, guys, just so you know, are these right here. Like if you want to send it, like, and you know, granted you don't land like completely sideways, survive those type of jumps, then I would highly recommend you getting right here. This is the rear suspension mount, both front and back, as well as the pins. So those are hardened steel pins, which are a major upgrade. He's got it for the front and the back. So between the two, these are pricey. You can get these suspension mounts from Hot Racing, which are way better than the plastic ones that come on both the EXB and the V4. But I mean, as far as if you break any of your suspension mounts, which are basically these components sit on the front end and the back end of both of your diff houses. And this is, again, if you're sending your RC car like 100 feet and you're just rocking like 30 feet in the air and you're coming down, these things are you know, the components you're going to need when you start sending it like that. Now, granted, the M2C ones, which if you jump back over to my lists, I mean, not the M2C ones, the Hot Racing ones, like right here, Hot Racing parts. This is all part of my just V4, just random part suggestions. You know, you start these right here. You might want to get these, but you can also get them from. These are stronger shock standoffs. You can get those from M2C as well. But what I was getting at is you could get these right here. Like that is the aluminum. I mean, you're gonna buy them separately, like 20 bucks for that one. They're kind of hit and miss trying to find these suspension mounts. But there's the, like I said, the rear lower one. There's the rear lower front. Here, right, this right here is another kind of set of, they're just not as good a quality, and they're not even in stock. So, I mean, like I said, when you're piecing these together, you're coming up to about 40 or 50 bucks for them. You might as well splurge a little bit and go with the M2C ones at $70, because you'll never need to replace them. So, again, I'm chattering about a part that you have to buy for both the EXB and the V4. So, long story short, guys, when it comes to what is better, the only real thing that the EXB is going to have after you've spent $1,100, $1,130 on the V4, the only real thing that the EXB might have still over it is you're going to have a better ESC and a better motor in it, because you have to pick your own. And I gave you that, this right here, the Hobby Wing Max 6 combo is like, this is what I want to upgrade my Arma V4 to when my stock motor and my stock ESC fry on me. I'll probably go with this setup. The important thing that you need to know when it comes to like buying a motor, when you're wanting to get more torque, then you're going to go lower in kV. So yeah, you'll have like a better combo with the ESC, with the EXB, because you're picking your own. So out the gate, you're like buying a better, higher end motor and a higher end ESC. So, you know, that's why it's really a toss up in the air. It's really a good choice to go with either one. The EXB's got a couple other components that are upgraded as well, aside from the A-arms, and the, you know, the shock towers and the stuff that, you know, but you're again going to be able to buy those with your extra money if you end up upgrading the V4, accounting for the same expense that you're pushing the EXB with. But it's got some fancier diffs, you know, differentials. The gears inside the differentials are a little bit fancier. They've got like limited slip attributes that a lot of people are just having a lot of problems with anyway. So, you know, until they get that ironed out, you know, you may or may not. I mean, honestly, the differential systems and stuff in the V4, if you shim them correctly, and I've got videos on those, just kind of check those out if you end up going with the V4 route. They're pretty bulletproof and they're strong. So, you know, maybe down the road when the EXB ends up kind of ironing out the kinks with the differentials, especially the rear one, then, you know, I myself might even just upgrade my V4, you know, differentials to it. We'll see. You know what I mean? So anyway, kind of long story short, if you're going to spend about $1,100 on the V4, you can get the M2C Goliath chassis and M2C rear shock tower, M2C chassis braces, M2C servo mounts, and, you know, you're going to be sitting in the same boat as you are with the EXB, aside from having a slightly downgraded motor and ESC. So, which would I do if I were to start over? If I didn't have either RC car and I know what I know about, you know, basically what I'm sharing with you in this video, I would probably still go with the V4. And if I really loved the body on the EXB, then I would throw my body on eBay and I'd, you know, make 30 bucks on it, and I'd buy the EXB body and throw that onto my V4 Kraton once I've got all my upgrades in it, and I'd be just as happy as I'll get out. So I would probably go with the V4. And the other reason is because, you know, buying parts from third party that are better is nice, but it's also really good experience for you to get in there with your wrenches, with your tools, put these parts together so that you learn the ins and outs of your vehicle. Building it yourself. I mean, if you buy it out of the box with all these stock upgrades, then you're kind of missing out on some of the fun factor of this hobby. And is it crazy to spend $1,000 on an RC car? Honestly, no. I mean, here's the thing. You have no choice but to spend about $1,000 if you start out with the EXB, because it costs that much basically for just getting it working. However, you can spend about $550 plus another $200 or so for your battery and your charger. You're looking at only about $700, and at least you've got a working vehicle that you can start fixing as you break things. And, you know, watch my YouTube channel, look up videos on how to tank out your vehicle, and you're gonna find that, you know, even the shock rod ends on the you know, the Arma V4 need an upgrade, which is about $13. But guess what? The shock rod ends on the EXB also need an upgrade. So my point is you can get in and start playing and having fun and getting out there and hitting those jumps for about $800 if you go with the V4. And then eventually after those up, like, you know, when you get to the point of spending $1,100 to $1,150 ish on your V4, you basically got something that is you know, just as tanked out as the EXB, minus the slight downgrade in your ESC and your motor. So if you're all about having the upgraded electronics with that motor and that ESC, then go with the EXB. And you know what? I'd still end up spending about $130 on the M2C chassis though. So anyway, guys, that's my 2 cents on, you know, what's better. What should you do if you want to purchase an EXB Kraton, or if you want to pick up the V4 and upgrade it yourself. Keep in mind, guys, if you want to basically just look into my description description here, you can get access to these lists. And, you know, hopefully after COVID-19, you know, manufacturers out there start getting their stuff together and things start becoming in stock again. And you can just put together, you know, everything you need in one spot. Check out, I'll have all 4 of those like lists linked in my description. So you can kind of rummage through there, and, you know, if you buy the V4, then you can just look through the parts section and, you know, pick and take a look at the different recommendations and just find all the parts in one spot, in essence. And I look forward to maybe hearing from you if you end up getting into this hobby. If you check out my channel, there's just a countless amount of advice and tips on how to, you know, wrench on these vehicles and all those things. And one of the things that I can say that I'm proud of is I'm small enough of a channel right now that every single time somebody leaves a comment, I make sure I reply and, you know, get back to you if you have a question. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's a little bit long-winded, but, you know, hopefully it will help you make that decision as to which to go with, the V4 or the EXB in the Arrma lineup in the basher category, or one of Arrma's other vehicles. I mean, they've even got in-between vehicles like the Typhon or the Outcast or whatever. I mean, and you can even go bigger and go with the 8S version of these vehicles, like the 8S Kraton or the 8S Outcast, which, if you want my, you know, sort of brief opinion, I still prefer the 1/8 scale vehicles to the 1/5 scale vehicles, simply because, I mean, just at their size and how far you can launch them. You know, I've seen people launching the 8S versions of the Kraton and the 8S versions of the Outcast, and you can just tell, like, they just don't seem to kind of get that same zing off of a jump because they're so heavy, you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong though, if I had the money, I'd probably end up owning both, but is what it is. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching my channel. You know, as always, if you want to support my channel, you can hit me up on Patreon, and I really appreciate all the love and support I can get to kind of keep my channel going. And, you know, again, if you want to find these parts quickly, just jump down into the comments or into the description and find links to all this stuff, and enjoy. East Tactics out.